So
Brian, I have been adding them as they join.
okay. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March meeting of the Ulster County Transportation Council Technical Committee meeting. Sorry for starting a little late. We're working out some technical difficulties. I hope everybody can see us and hear, excuse me, see us and hear us relative to this hybrid meeting. We'll start off with a call to order, a welcome and introductions. So I guess we can go around and Rob, why don't you read off who's on this? Brian, can you read off who's the participants on the screen?
Yeah, I can certainly do that. Good morning, everyone. So I have remotely Sandra Jobson, New York State Department of Transportation, Greg Krupp, City of Kingston, Mary Beth Majestic, Danielle Freer, Dave Plavchik, Amy McKenzie, Lizzie Phillip, John Frano, Mike Carachet, Vernon Benjamin, Chris Kate, Alex Wade, Peter Cristiano, Dave Plavick, I already mentioned his name, and Martin Hall. And myself, Brian Slack, I'm home with a cold, saving everyone from my germs.
And in the room, we have Dennis Doyle,
Mike Baden,
Herb Litz, John Morrow.
Oh, Robert Leibowitz.
Mr. Lewis has joined us today as our technical support team. Thanks,
He's doing
Rob.
a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Anyone on the call that's not identified, Brian?
Speak now.
Can you guys hear me? It's Sandra Jobson, New York State DOT.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, and I'm so sorry. I would have been there today in person. I didn't realize that we had the option. I'm so sorry.
You're
I don't
missing
think
a
I
great
looked
cup
at
of,
these.
you're missing a
I
great cup of
know.
coffee.
Oh my God, I totally would have been there today. Next time, okay?
Okay. So, no, second thing on the agenda is a call for citizens' comments. Is there any citizens' comments? Mr. Litz.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the council. I want to thank Ulster County DPW and their efforts to aid the town of Lloyd in creating a four-way stop at North Elkins Corners and New Paltz Road. It has solved a lot of sins in that intersection, and it's much, much safer now than it was prior to that. Second thing, I have received a letter from a business owner on Route 299. This has come up several times before, but he has written formally with some his personal statistics on turning movements and the number of cars that are making left turns in that corridor. It's a source of personal injury accidents and non-personal injury accidents. I'm sure the accident rate is very high. And hopefully the DOT will be looking at that section. I know they repaved it, but I'm hoping that they'll go back and possibly put in the left turn lane to correct some of the issues that are there. And I'm going to present the council with the letter that was sent to me.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments?
yeah, I guess I qualify as a citizen. So
This week.
I had reached out to Dave Corrigan on this previously last fall, but the intersection in the town of Rochester with Airport Road and 209, there's some sight distance issues there when the vegetation grows up. Dave did take care and followed up with me on having it cut back last year, but just sort of a reminder now that we're getting into that season again. It is very difficult, and just the the degree of turn on 209 is just enough that you can't really see and you're kind of guessing to start with. So I don't know if any more permanent solution can come from it. I don't want to speculate on what the answer is, but it is a cause of concern of people who live in that area. And I know there have been some accidents there. I don't think it rises to a substantial level, but there are accidents there. So
Thank you, Mike. Any other citizens' comments?
I think we lost Brian.
Yes.
Mr. Morrow, I'm sorry, I apologize.
A couple of years ago, the county put up a stop sign on Lakes Mills Road at the intersection of Serena Court, which prior to the stop sign being installed on Lakes Mills Road at that location, it was a three-way stop, and it was very confusing for people that were out of towners.
Yeah.
And the concern was the railroad track and backing up traffic. Just wanted to report that the railroad track has been a non-event for that stop sign, because once a train goes through, another train doesn't immediately follow, so it has plenty of time for traffic to clear. The biggest problem at that railroad intersection right now really is the school bus stop that is 50 feet or 100 feet at the most from the railroad track. And the school bus will just pull up and turn on its red lights, and cars were coming toward the school bus and get stuck on the tracks waiting for the school bus. And the school bus stop should be reconfigured, moved or something away from the tracks. It's just, and it goes in the east direction and a west direction. It creates a real traffic hazard from time to time. That should maybe be looked at. It's a real safety issue.
Sorry. Thank you,
So,
Mr. Morrow.
Dennis, can I just mention something real quick? Oh my God, look at the screen. Holy cow. Sorry, guys. For all three of those issues, what would be incredibly helpful is, definitely, Herb, you mentioned that there is a letter that I'm assuming, did you send it to the regional director's office? Perfect.
Yeah, I'll scan it
I
as
already
well.
did.
Yeah, I'll scan it as
Okay.
well and make sure it gets there.
Okay, good, because it's not a bad idea to CC our office too. And then for the other two intersections that just came up, I would encourage you to do the exact same thing that Herb did, okay? Because that way they get logged in, then they get looked at. So I just wanted to pass that along. And if you want to CC my office on those letters to the regional director's office, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Sandra. Any other citizens' comments? Hearing none, did we lose one or not?
Yeah, he's in and out.
Yeah, so.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
So, approval of the 2020, November 2023, 2021 Technical Committee Meeting Summary. Do I have a motion for discussion purposes?
Mike Baden.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Baden. I have a second from Mr. Morrow. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to do, since we have so many people remote, I'm going to ask, is there anyone opposed? Is there any abstentions? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted. Thank you. Communications and announcements. Brian, you got back just in time.
Great. Yes, I don't have any major communications and announcements. Obviously, we're all awaiting further guidance on the tip update process, but that's agenda item D. So that'll be coming up shortly for discussion. I did want to raise an important issue that was discussed at Friday's statewide MPO directors meeting. At the request of the New York Metropolitan Planning Organization, Transportation Council, NIMTEC in New York City, New York State DOT provided a legal finding on open meetings law as it applies to metropolitan planning organizations in New York State. There were several questions as to whether remote meetings would be allowable absent the governor's emergency order, which I think we all know expired. So the following findings were made by the legal department at New York State Department of Transportation. The first is probably the most important and relevant, and that's that it's their opinion, their legal opinion, that metropolitan planning organizations are not subject to New York State open meetings law. The reason being is that the MPO is a federal creation and essentially a federal entity carrying out a process as designated or written by rules of Congress. And there's no similar process in New York State. Therefore, we're not subject to the laws of New York State in that regard. But even so, there were several other important points that were included in that finding. One is that hybrid meetings, such as this one, are okay under open meetings law, that a central in-person location is required, one that is accessible to all members of the public. But, and this is one of the more important components of the finding as well, is that hybrid online votes are fine. In the past, we've been very cautious and have indicated that we're not sure if people can attend virtually, we're not sure they can vote virtually. And Dennis can provide more insight there. Obviously, metropolitan planning organizations must adhere to their own bylaws regarding how meetings are to be conducted. There's nothing in the UCTC bylaws and operating procedures that address open meetings law or would preclude us to. So the final thing is that a quorum in the room in person, hybrid meeting with voting
Brian, you're cutting in
members.
and out, Brian.
Okay, I'm gonna then, I'm done with my announcement. I will,
But do us a favor, Brian, just shut your video off and then repeat what you said with respect to hybrid meetings in the room and a quorum necessary to be in the room or not to be in the room.
right, a quorum is not necessary to be, an in-person quorum is not necessary. So you can have voting members virtually and in the room.
Okay.
And finally, the U.S. Department of Transportation has always accepted since the beginning of COVID virtual meetings as acceptable and for every aspect of the federal aid process. So that's for discussion. I'll give the floor back to you, Dennis.
Mr. Litz?
Brian, I know in the legislature, in order to vote virtually, you have to be on camera and you have to be able to voice your vote. Is that required?
It's not clear to me if that's required or not. I have to go through the legal finding myself in great detail. In the past, I know it's been our assumption that you actually would have to be in an accessible location yourself remotely and allow other individuals. That does not appear to be the case. Further clarification might be warranted regarding whether you need to be on video or not.
Mr. Baden?
For Mr. Litz, where that comes from is under the open meetings laws, the public has to have the ability to observe you. So observing means that they have to be able to see you. I know the legislature has said you have to be present. During the COVID, it's been my town attorney's reading of the state suspending it is that actually you don't have to be seen because it allowed people to be able to phone call in and still vote. I know the legislature has still been following that you must be visibly seen, but I'm not sure that that's an accurate interpretation during the COVID. Once that's suspended, I am curious though and concerned in that all of us are on this by virtue of being appointed through our New York State capacity. So I'm wondering,
You're serving on it. I think that's the big takeaway from my perspective. The big takeaway from this is the fact is that as an MPO, you're a federal creation and not subject to New York State open meetings law. Okay? And the second big takeaway from that is that your bylaws may control, and our bylaws are silent with respect to the New York State open meetings law. In fact, the bylaws used to provide for mail-in ballots. And several bylaws in the state still actually do that. So we have some analysis to do with respect to that legal opinion, and we'll take a look at it. But the thought being is that we would continue to.
No, just keep on talking.
The thought would be is that we would continue to essentially be able to hold hybrid meetings. The order was extended, the emergency order was extended to April 15th. We certainly can hold this meeting as a hybrid meeting without any issue. And then the next piece of that would be moving forward, how do we want to meet if we find out that we don't have to meet in person? One of the suggestions that staff was talking about internally was having the technical committee meeting on a regular basis as a remote meeting, so that we would schedule them and we'd have them every 2 months. And then we would schedule the policy committee meeting as needed, and we would schedule them in person. That was the thought. And usually the policy committee only meets about 4 times a year. So that was the thought, but we'll take a good look at the requirements or the legal analysis from Nisd and move from there. Any other questions or concerns relative to the open meetings law or Brian's communications? Mr. Morrow?
Looking through the website and so forth, it appears that the bylaws for this committee were written, I don't remember the date, it was quite a while ago, though, like 1963 or something.
Oh, no.
2003.
Yeah, no, they were written, they were updated. They were updated.
Earlier.
They were updated with the last change to the federal legislation. And we'll probably update them again because we should reference the most recent federal law that governs us. So we'll probably need to update them again.
So you might want to look at forming within this group, a governance committee to look at the bylaws to see what might be missing, these kind of things, and make recommendations to the full committee so that we can have our own rules that, comply with the state and federal guidelines for these kinds of issues, and see if there's other things that might be missing. Just a thought.
Does anybody want to volunteer?
If I may,
Brian?
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. One of the other agenda items that's coming up later under other or old business is a brief review of our certification review that was conducted this fall of 2021. And there are a number of findings and recommendations in that review. Our operating procedures were last updated, I believe it was 2015, and that was after MAP 21 was passed. The original operating procedures were developed in 2003, as Robert had said. So one of the recommendations is that we do update our operating procedures. And the primary reason is to provide clarification regarding how we host meetings. But when we do that review, it's always a good idea to update the entire 10 pages of the operating procedures. So that is something that we intend to do in 2022.
So are there any council members that want to assist us relative to that, or Mr. Morrow has volunteered? Okay.
I can assist. I don't know if I can take it on. I've got a lot of.
So we have Mr.
Yeah.
Baden, Mr. Morrow, anyone else? Hearing none, we have a small committee.
Fair enough.
Okay,
They're the most effective ones.
all right. Anything else, Brian, on that?
Committees of one, really.
No, not on the open meetings issue, and I don't have any other communications or announcements.
I have one other communication, and that's the 5310 announcement, Brian.
Sure. Well, the deadline for 5310 applications was yesterday, Dennis.
Oh, there you go.
Short conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Do you have any other announcements from UCTC, particularly the status, why David isn't here today?
Oh, thank you, Brian. So Brian is at home nursing a cold. And Mr. Stas, who's normally with us as our technical expertise, is actually expecting a baby. So with his wife, so hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have a new addition to the family, as they say. So David's pretty ecstatic. So they went in yesterday for a checkup, and he called us and indicated that he wasn't coming in for the rest of the day. So we wish him well and wish his wife well. So congratulations to Dave, and hopefully we'll let you know whether it's a boy or a girl. He actually does not know. So
Good for him.
Maybe 20.
oh, I hope he hopes not. Anyway, so with that, I'll move on to new business. Item number 5 on the agenda, UCTC Resolution 2022-03. It's an amendment to the UCTC Federal Fiscal Year 2020-2024 Transportation Improvement Program to add a new Ulster County Bridge, New York PIN number 876268, as shown in attachment 1. Do I have a motion for discussion purposes?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow. Anyone else want a second?
Second, Mike Beatty.
Mr. Baden is a second. I have a motion and a second. Brian, discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think I have control over the screen. Maybe Rob, if you could bring the resolution up, but resolution
I'll give you one.
2022-3.
See if I don't have
is-
access to it here, but let me try to give you sharing. Okay, go for it. You can share.
Okay, just a moment here. All right, and there is a garbage truck going by my house right now, so my apologies for any background noise. So this is a Bridge New York award to Ulster County Department of Public Works. It is a total project cost of $4.3 million in federal and local match. That is for the replacement of the Trunwood Bridge carrying County Route 54 over the Beaverkill in the town of Hardenburg. And again, that's a 95% federal share and a 5% local match through Bridge New York.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions? Hearing none, and since we're mostly remote, is there any opposition, any opposed? Any abstentions? So passed. Thank you.
We will make this tip amendment open to 15-day public review for prior to approval at the next policy committee meeting.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Item number B, it's an update process for the 2023-2027 UCTC Transportation Improvement Program. It's the draft Nisd Region 8 Capital Program. There's no action required on this. This is just an update. We're just going to discuss it. Brian, you have something to discuss, and I know Sandra is on, and I was going to ask Sandra if she has something to discuss as well.
Sure. I'll kick things off. We've been eagerly awaiting guidance on the tip update process. On Friday at the directors meeting, New York State DOT Planning and Program Bureau indicated that we're very close to having guidance on the tip update. Essentially, the process, the way it works is that the New York State DOT directs the MPOs to update the tip roughly every 2 to 3 years. So we're due for that tip update. The new tip will be I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 2023-27 Transportation Improvement Program. It's a 5-year program as described in the agenda. So once the TIP guidance is issued, that will also include fiscal targets for this MPO and all MPOs statewide to utilize to manage and budget for all projects remaining on the TIP. If there are dollars left over after addressing the budget needs of the existing program, then we can issue a call for new project proposals for road and bridge projects in the Ulster County Metropolitan Planning Area. There's quite a few other details that go into the TIP update process. I will be reaching out to individual project sponsors later this week to schedule one-on-one meetings. If you have a project on the TIP, particularly with construction phases in the next year or two, we will be looking at those in great detail and seeing if we can address any scheduling or budget needs. Each project will be addressed individually, and there are different funding rules for each project depending on the fund source that you're using. For example, if you are using the STBG Flex program, we have some flexibility in applying or looking for additional funds for construction phases. But if you have a project that utilizes Transportation Alternative Program funding, we don't have very much flexibility in adding additional funding to those projects, but we do have some flexibility in addressing schedule concerns. So there are obviously quite a few details to go through in a TIP update. This is a very condensed schedule, and we hope to be able to kick it off very soon. And with that, I'll give the floor over to Sandra if she has any additional information.
Hi, I don't necessarily have any additional information, but something for the members to think about is, you know, our planning dollars here in Region 8, New York State DOT, which is the lower Hudson Valley, you know, they're very limited, and our emphasis is really on preservation. So a lot of our funds are dedicated to routine paving, routine bridge maintenance, signal upgrades. But if there is a project in Ulster County on a state highway that's of particular interest
Trying to
to
reconnect to the wireless
the
display.
MPO,
Shoot.
to the MPO or a particular member.
Yeah, shoot.
Oh, is there a problem?
Sorry, we're trying to reconnect our wireless display and we lost audio for a sec. We do have audio
Okay.
again.
Sorry, Sandra.
Okay, as long as you can hear me. Can you hear me
Yeah, we
now?
can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was trying to mention is that although a lot of our funds here at New York State DOT, you know, we're still an emphasis on preservation. So we're doing a lot of repaving, a lot of bridge. That's where our funds are going. But if there is a project in Ulster County on a state highway that is of particular importance, that's just not making it onto our capital program, but you'd like to maybe fund it with the MPO funds, I'm sure that in our office, we can take a look at a project idea like that and either, you know, we could definitely design it and construct it, and even, you know, work with you potentially on the project cost. So, you know, I'm just something to think about beyond programming your federal aid, you know, just for the, you know, county roads or town roads. If you wanted to partner with the state, I think that that's something that we could talk about.
Thank you, Sandra. Can you
Okay.
give us a sense, Sandra, when the state, the region will have its capital program in place that we could see it?
Yeah, I would expect that to be released when the planning financial targets are released. I would think the timing should be aligned.
We were
Well,
told that those would be released early this week. So,
Oh, okay.
and
Well,
that,
then you
yeah,
have better information than I have, so.
that was from Dave Reddick on Friday to the MPO directors statewide. So Sandra, obviously we missed the deadline for today's technical committee meeting for an overview of the capital program. So in light of that, I reached out to DCTC and OCTC directors to see if they would be interested in hosting a regional overview of the capital program for the entire Mid-Hudson region within the next 2 weeks. Therefore, that way we wouldn't have to schedule individual meetings with Nisd. Obviously, we missed our technical committee window. So perhaps we could set it up as a webinar where members could sit in but not necessarily participate, but the MPOs could directly participate. Would you be amenable to that?
Unfortunately, it's not a decision that I can make here right now, but 2 weeks would definitely be too soon. But we can definitely share the information with you folks when and the format. I think we'll have to discuss that like after this meeting.
Well, I think that the main thing is, Senator, is that we've been asked by the feds in the past to essentially meet jointly as a regional council since we're a TMA.
No, I think it's a great idea. I just can't
Okay.
commit to it right now.
So that would be the point is that we would actually meet to discuss what capital improvements are scheduled in the region from Nisd. So one would hope that
Okay.
the department
Don't get too excited, though. It's going to be a lot of bridge rehabs and
That's okay.
a lot of
That's all right.
painting, a lot
You
of
know?
catch basin cleaning, a lot of bridge painting, a lot of bridge washing. But we can definitely
Yep.
organize something. But I do know the 2 week time frame is
Okay.
probably not achievable.
So could you get back to us with a time frame that would be?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll look forward to that.
And
Okay. And
I
I'll
just
follow
wanna-
up with I'll follow up with our Albany office too.
okay.
On what you guys were told on Friday.
I just want to reiterate that this is a extremely condensed timeframe that all the MPOs are dealing with. And our partners at OCTC have to do, obviously, air quality conformity, which provides even more additional steps for their timeline. So we're looking now, April is going to be a policy committee meeting. Then May, June, and typically the tips are passed statewide by all the MPOs during the month of June. We've been given an indication that we'll be given a few extra weeks into the month of July, but there is a process that the MPOs do need to adhere to. We have to have our own public meeting. We have to have enough time to update everyone's project schedules. So I just want everyone to be aware that the next few weeks are really going to be crunch time for the tip update. And in years past, we've typically gotten guidance in the fall prior to this update process. So to say that this is a condensed schedule is really an understatement. It's going to be a big undertaking for us, and we're going to work as quickly as we can to get an updated tip approved by this MPO by late spring, early summer.
Thanks, Brian. Any other council comments? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item 6 on the agenda, other old business.
Dennis, I apologize.
Mike?
I just wanted to point out what is a typo on the draft
Yeah, I saw it.
resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, I don't know if you saw this. It says add, in the header, it says add town of Rochester. That should be town of Hardenburg.
Oh, all right. Thank you. I see that,
Yeah,
Supervisor.
I just happened to notice it. Apologies, I didn't see it before when we discussed it.
That's fine. Again, it's a technical committee, so that's what we're looking for. My cut and paste job was found out today. Thank
The
you.
number appears correct, just the name.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on the tip update process? Okay, now moving on to other old business, FHWA FTA Mid-Hudson Valley 2021 certification review. Brian?
Yeah, sure. The review is not complete. It has not been issued by the USDOT at this point in time, but the MPO did receive the draft findings of the FHWA. I think most of you participated directly in that certification review process that was held in September. There was one corrective action that was found for this MPO. For those of you that aren't aware, there are usually several tiers of findings that USDOT will have for an MPO. The most serious of them is called a corrective action. After that, they put forth recommendations to the MPOs of things that they don't necessarily have to initiate or change, but they are strongly recommended that they consider them. So the one corrective action is regarding the UCTC long-range transportation plan, in particular, our fiscal analysis. There is an entire section, I believe it's section 8 of the LRTP, devoted to the financial plan. And in reading through the rules as outlined in federal law, apparently there is one table that we included in our financial plan that was actually moved to section 9 under the plan of projects. And it's the anticipated federal dollars available through the life of the plan, which goes to 2045. So for one, that table needs to be in section 8, not section 9, is what we found out. So that is one element of the finding. The other element is the table is organized by funding source. So we project that we will receive so many millions of dollars over the course of the plan to 2045 by funding source. And our federal partners indicated that that is not actually how we're supposed to project the needs of the transportation system. We really need to look at individual elements of the transportation system. So how many dollars for roadway paving will you need by 2045? How many dollars for bridges will you need by 2045, et cetera, et cetera. That's how it was explained to us in the draft findings. So we'll have to do very likely a revision or an amendment to the long-range plan to make sure that we address that corrective action. Otherwise, I don't believe there are any major serious findings for UCTC, just a series of recommendations, which we'll be happy to outline in detail at the next technical committee meeting. I'm expecting that review to be delivered to us this week.
And one of those recommendations, Brian, as I recall, was was what you'd raised before, which is the operating procedures. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. There typically are quite a few recommendations. Again, the MPO is not required to follow through on the recommendations, but we are strongly encouraged to do so. And we want to keep our federal partners happy. So we'll take a hard look at those recommendations.
Any questions for Brian on that? I would add that Nisd has essentially written a letter to our federal partners concerning the questions that they've raised about how TIP finances are reported. And so that there's some support here from Nisd in terms of how we characterized, how we did our fiscal analysis. And we'll await to see what happens with respect to that.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Michael Flynn at the Plan and Program Bureau did state very directly that New York State DOT feels that the long-range plan does comply with the federal regs. But we don't want to get in the middle of a fight. It's not a major lift to make the revision. We're more than happy to make the change. But it is important to note that there are different interpretations of the federal regs.
And we certainly appreciate Nisd support here with respect to that. Anything else? Anything from the council members? The second piece of the other old business is NYSERDA Ulster Connect Phase 1 Award. NYSERDA has a program that is called a Clean Communities Program that's eligible for applications from the private sector. Ulster County has worked with a company called VIA. VIA is a transit company that does a lot of work with respect to software work in terms of scheduling. they put together an application for microtransit demonstration projects in the city of Kingston and in the area in and around Ellenville and Warsaw. They were awarded funding. I believe it's a $200,000 planning grant award to study that area and to make a final presentation to NYSERDA for funding of a demonstration project. And if they're awarded on that demonstration project, then we would actually be able to up and run a pilot program for microtransit in those two areas. We are currently working with a number of community partners, including those folks that are very concerned on the environmental green side, as well as those folks that are very concerned on the equity issues associated with transit. And you'll be seeing a number of public outreach efforts in those communities to take a look at how best to structure a microtransit program in those communities. And then at the end of that, they get to make a pitch to NYSERDA for funding. And it's combined into, I believe it's less than 10 minutes that they have to make the pitch. And if they are chosen, then there is a demonstration project that gets funded, and I believe that funding is up to $6 or $8 million, which could probably run a demonstration pilot program in the three communities as an all-in, which means it's a turnkey operation for about 3 to 4 years in those instances. So stay tuned for additional updates with respect to this. It'll be very interesting to see where this office is working with VIA, as is the county, as is members of the county other members of the county executives team. There's people on there from Family of Woodstock. Other community partners include the folks at I'm trying to think of their name. Anyway, but the point being is that it's a wide range public information team, and we're putting together the building blocks of what a microtransit system will look like in these areas. Via scheduling, the difference between I think microtransit and demand response is that the scheduling software is sophisticated enough that rather than calling 24 hours ahead in order to get a bus, you can actually call in a neighborhood of about an hour to 2 hours ahead, and the bus will pick you up and take you to your destination or take you to a link to your destination. So it is a very sophisticated software product. And we use something like it right now for our county, but it's not quite as sophisticated as VIA's product. Just be aware of that. It's out there. We'll hopefully win the award and be able to run a demonstration project in those two communities. Any questions on that?
Would have access to private roads.
Yes. Yeah. Ulster County Traffic Safety Board updates, Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to make everyone aware that the Ulster County Traffic Safety Board is up and running. And if you go to the website, I will attempt to share my screen. Let's see.
Can't connect back to that one.
There. So we do have a webpage, the Ulster County Traffic Safety Boards is up, and you can go to Traffic Safety Board meeting information. All of our past meeting minutes and agendas are up here. These meetings are also being held as hybrid meetings. They're held on the 6th floor of the Ulster County Legislative Chambers. And we continue to have very active agendas. And so far, we've had very informative meetings with some great participation from the town and village of Saugerties regarding how New York State will address enforcement of cannabis legalization and traffic issues associated with cannabis legalization. And also the New York State Safe Streets law that is currently being considered by the New York State Legislature. We had a local advocate who had spoken to the New York State Assembly advocating for the passage of the New York State, I believe it's called the Safe Streets Law. There's several iterations out there, but there's some important components in that law that will address establishment of local speed limits, the 3-foot passing rule for bicyclists, and several other important elements that will affect traffic safety. And we got a very informative presentation there. So these meetings are open to the public. You can certainly participate online and join us for those meetings. They're typically held on the first Monday of the month at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you. Any other old business, any other discussions from council members?
I just want to take a second to bring up what many people may know about, but at the legislature meeting the other night, they adopted the resolution to provide funding, ARPA funding, to the rail trails of the O&W and the Walkdale Valley to OSI, Open Space Institute, who is doing remediation and reconstruction work on those. I just want to thank Legislator Litz, who's here with us today.
I abstained. I had to.
Understood, but still, if you can, the legislature, we appreciate it in the town of Rochester. And I think it's a good use of the money, the funding, and so the trails aren't just used for recreation. People use them to commute, and I think that's important to remember. So keeps people off of the highways.
Thank you, Mr. Baden. Any other comments? Hearing none.
Dennis, I have one. Ulster County Area Transit recently appointed Lauren Johnson as the new director, or I'm sorry, the Ulster County Legislature recently appointed Lauren Johnson as the new director of Ucat. And we have not met with Lauren yet, but we hope to be seeing more of him at future meetings.
Yeah, and I'll follow on with that. We still have a lot of transit money that came through for both the CARES Act as well as the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and federal fiscal year, the normal distribution of transit money to the TMA, federal fiscal year 2021, that has not been essentially decided in terms of how that money is going to be distributed throughout the region, and it is a substantial pot of money. So we're still having that conversation at the TMA level in terms of that distribution. Anything else?
Hey, question. Beautification. I know we had a major ice storm and we're still cleaning up from, you can see it coming down 209 today. It got stopped 3 times, but they're grinding trees up still. But the old Tech City property, who's responsible along the county road there for all the trees that are down? Is that the new owner or is that?
So why don't we take this offline, Mr. Morrow? I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting's over, and I can answer that question.
Thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Morrow. Mr. Baden is the second. Any opposed? We are adjourned, and our
Thank you.
next council meeting is on the 28th.
28 or 26?
I'm sorry. Make sure. On the 26th, thank you. On the 26th, we'll let you know whether it's going to be in person, hybrid, or completely remote. So thank you so much for attending. Appreciate it, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Sorry to cut you off.
Be safe.
Good night.
Sorry to cut you off, Mr. Morrow.
That's okay.